and values. It sounds trite, it sounds almost too good to be true, but we're going to say, really, what's it really worth to me? And now it's going to become the Northwest against the rest of the country, because there's going to be a sense that you have much more battler values and much more hardy values. You're much more prepared to hunker down and face what's to come in the near term than the rest of us are, and it's going to be used in a meaningful way as a point of superiority and a point of defense as an economic turnaround begins. What we really are going to see going on, I think, is suddenly a real appreciation for people that are wise, for men and women that are wise, for companies that are wise, for companies that have been through bad times.
I think it's going to be interesting to see which heritage brands find ways to connect in new and innovative ways, kind of hearkening back to what we already know and love, but pushing it forward.
Value as a trend, how people capture value within their brands and their business.
It's kind of the same thing, just back to basics, more community orientation, more collaboration.
I think it's companies first. I think there's an opportunity to really tell a story around innovation and companies that continue to innovate during these times. But obviously, the big thing that I see in my field is really around cost savings. You need to show customers how they can save money now while still delivering business value in the future as well.
What has been a sort of a sense of mass market, product. Launches that have been sort of washed across the country, that I think that there's going to be an opportunity for sort of more local, individual, indigenous stuff to come up, and that people are going to pay more attention to that, just partly because it's closer to home, and it's going to seem more real.
Because we're going to need to do this tapping into social media, or we're just not going to get there. The potential as a business asset is really all there. If you're not part of it, it will destroy you, because it will basically take out the creativity of your younger people and just bring the older people down. The switched-on younger people are really reshaping the world, and they're reshaping it with all kinds of tools and techniques that you either have to embrace and leverage and run with, or they will run you over. But the real truth is that the future lies in mastering these technologies and being part of this, because this is the wave of the future. People are going to get their MBAs this way. People are going to live their lives this way. I'm increasingly convinced that the crisis is going to be solved by harnessing the kind of creativity that is going to be embedded in the kinds of relationships that are going to be forged through use of this new technology, new relationships, new solutions, new coping mechanisms.
I think it's changing everything a lot. We're seeing, the massive trend spreading towards Facebook, and Twitter, of course, is kind of the new emerging trend that everybody's trying to get on board with. But privacy, I think, is almost becoming non-existent in 2009, and even we saw it in 2008. But it's pushing the boundaries of where your company really goes and what they feel comfortable putting in the social media space, and I think it's something that you can't ignore if you really want to be getting close with your fans and word of mouth experiences. Then you can't avoid those anymore. And instead of ignoring the conversation or backing away from it, I think that companies need to join in with it.
I'm excited to learn about how you can most effectively use them, and since they're such open forums, how do you create consistent messaging across those different mediums, because each one has kind of a different feature. So how do you consistently get your message across?
What's really happening here in Seattle, I think you have a lot of questions to ask yourself about what happens as newspapers go away. Because where are your whistleblowers going to come from? I think we're going to see then as a culture of bloggers emerge that are going to be those kinds of advocates, those kinds of very, very strong, very, very parochial perhaps, very, very partisan perhaps, disruptive voices. And they're going to have actually a very, very interesting place, because they're going to be the people who are going to force upon politics a different kind of convergence, because they're going to create a new kind of business of journalism, and they're going to create narrowcasting in the market that's going to really disrupt, I think, lots of things.
Oh, well, I think the Seattle PI closing, I think, is going to shut down some traditional paper, but I think at the same time it's going to open up new opportunities for online. I think the only real danger of a newspaper shutting down is that a lot of the reporters that actually fuel all the blogs and all of the news sites, it's the actual paper journalists that do most of that reporting and actually fuel most of those sites. And so there's going to be an opportunity in journalism for, I think, other online sites to become journalists and actually expand their coverage. So.
Media is going to absolutely serve as a great escape through all of this. It's going to be the one environment that's going to be available to us largely for free, which we can thoroughly curate. It's going to be really the true third place that people are going to be able to own no matter where they are. I'm going to argue that the social media and the kind of searching and hosting that you already can do today is going to make it easier for people to come together and to form new unions, whether they're transitory unions or permanent unions of knowledge sharing. And you're going to see these unions spring up, and you're going to see most of us become aggressive narrowcasters.
I think it's going to winnow out a lot of bad practices. So bad ideas and bad lending, bad business ideas, those things will go away because they won't survive. The people to the left will be stronger. And that part is probably going to be a good thing in the long run.
Are going to be unknown entrepreneurial things that are happening right now. They're going to be available to us in the next 10 to 18 months. That'll help us do fundraising at that low level. I'm so appreciative to have this information. I love trend information. I just love it. I love it.